The temptations artists have to resist. It's. I'm going to delve into other things first, but please stay with me. This is about drawing. Recently, I tried to start living more healthily, and it also meant eating more healthily. And one of the things I discovered was that ultra processed food is really unhealthy. I didn't know. Apparently, um, around the 50s, 1950s, uh, processed food got in, hyper processed, ultra processed food got introduced. And with that also came a surge in heart diseases. And apparently, there was a correlation there. And that was interesting for me to look into. And I have to have thought about it a lot. What you basically have to imagine is for millions of years we were nomads, cavemen, and we would eat what we found and maybe hunt a bit. But we got to live together with fruit, for example, for a long time, and we have a very synergistic thing together with fruit. Sorry. Fruit packs a healthy amount of healthy nutrients, an enormous amount. And so back then, humans who ate more fruit would live longer. And fruit also had sugar in it. So we learned to be addicted to sugar because um, people who ate more fruit survived for longer. And being addicted to sugar helped because we craved these delicious sweet fruits. That was healthy for us, and also we learned to break down alcohol because if fruit starts to rot a bit, ferment a bit, then it becomes alcoholic. So our bodies learned to process alcohol, to break down alcohol, just because it was so healthy for us to eat fruit. A little bit of sugar came with an enormous amount of healthy nutrients. And so we learned to crave, to be addicted to sugar and alcohol. Now, then, of course, fast forward to 70 years ago or so, companies learned that, well, I suppose it was earlier with alcohol, it's the same trick. Companies learned to distill alcoholic drinks, and those are addictive, of course, or can be addictive. And with sugar, it's the same thing. They distill sugar and they make sweets, and all these things can be addictive to people. But also other tastes like umami, they use that to sort of make bagged chips, really addictive. So what the food industry did was isolate these ingredients that are really addictive, and they managed to find a way to process it into different types of food that they could charge much more money for. They could make a lot more profit on it than the basic ingredients. So a lot of the processed food they made it very addictive, and but not for our health. They're not looking after our health. They're looking at to make as large a profit as possible. And if you want to live healthily, then you really have to look past the enormous wall of of ultra processed food and reach behind it for all the delicious healthy foods. And because in the healthy foods you also have sugar and fruit, but there it comes with a whole package of healthy nutrients, and these healthy nutrients have been removed by the ultra processed food industry. Now, why am I telling you this? Because this is important for artists too, because as artists, we or anybody gets to also deal with media companies. Also started in I think the 60s with television. That also became an addictive thing, and then also just so that they could sell advertisements. Also, again, to make money. They used. I mean, we humans. We used to also when we were cavemen. We would sit around and tell each other stories, and that would be how we shared life experiences. We would explain how we survived an attack from a bear today, and everybody would listen up to sort of understand how they could also do that when they were attacked by a bear. So, stories were a way for us to communicate life knowledge and to bond, and that helped us survive. That helped us survive as humans. And here you have another group of companies that use that concept of storytelling, that which is something people crave, and to package it in such a way that they could make money with it through advertising. And of course, that goes on with Netflix. That is based on a subscription form, but Netflix is also very addictive. If you start watching a series, it's very hard to go to bed if you see the hook for the next episode. But it doesn't stay there, of course. I mean, it gets even worse with social media, where they even get us to create the content. It's not even with Netflix and television, at least they're providing the content, but here it's the audience themselves who are making the content for social media platforms. And then they manage to make that addictive even. That's through the vanity statistics. You want to see that you have many likes and many follows and many subscribers, and that's the large corporations making things addictive, using things that were meant to be addictive, but in a healthy way, normal when we were cavemen, and now they're using it against us to make a lot of money, and they're not looking after our health. And so for artists, you have to sort of look out for that. Try to steer clear from television and Netflix, and also try to. I post on social media too. So, I mean, it can be a fun thing, but try to avoid looking at the statistics, because it's always demotivating and it's not important. It's you still have all your things online, and you can still be happy about it. And it's the same with food. Try to enjoy food without the processed, ultra processed components in there. Uh, and try to drink drinks without alcohol, and try to spend time away from the television or a screen and just fill sketchbooks. It's much more satisfying. You create something. I mean, you think nothing of looking at a film all evening or binge watching a Netflix series. But you could also have opened your sketchbook and done some doodling, and it's fun, and it's really rewarding at the end of the evening to have a sketchbook page filled with nice sketches, something you tried out. So be wary of addictive technologies created by large corporations, because they do it to make a profit for themselves, and it's not a benefit to us. They're not looking after us. We have to look after ourselves. So that's this for this episode, and I hope you look at my other videos also soon. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.